As this major rain and flood event unfolds along the New South Wales coast, farmers are rejoicing in some inland regions. There has been a dramatic turnaround in rainfall this year for many of them, and one of them joins me live now. Sam Heagney is a farmer who lives in Mungandai near Moree in New South Wales. Sam, thanks for your time this evening. It's nearly been a year since we last spoke, and what a turnaround it's been for inland parts of the state.
Yeah, definitely. Most of New South Wales just had one of its, well, New South Wales as a state had its best crop on record, I believe. So massive turnaround from the 3 years prior to that, where we grew next to nothing. So it's been very welcome change.
Now, Sam, the images today speak for themselves. We've had a flood emergency unfolding in New South Wales. La Nina to blame, the main driver for all of this. But what has it meant for you and where your year's looking ahead?
Oh, we're still waiting to see La Nina have its impact here. We've had a good summer. Our rainfall's been spot on average so far. But La Nina is supposed to bring above average rainfall, and we've certainly seen it in other parts of the country, other parts of the state this week, but we haven't managed to see it yet. So we're waiting for our turn, and we know it can come any moment. We're even forecast for up to 120 mils in the next few days. So I'm sure the people around Taree wouldn't want to hear it, but we'll take that anytime. We'd be very happy to receive that sort of rainfall at the moment.
Now, you just touched on that point there. You're on average rainfall for this summer coming into autumn. But what about other parts of northern New South Wales and other farmers around you? Irrigation in northern New South Wales is still very much in drought.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, for our business, we're partially dryland farming and partially irrigation. We're in the Guida Valley and Copeton Dam, where irrigators get our water from for the Guida Valley, is still only at about 21%, I believe. And our dams on farm are only at about 15%. We just haven't had those big flows. We've had good average flows, but that's not enough. It was so dry before that. We need really wet seasons to refill everything and get the rivers going properly again. And when the rivers are flowing nicely, but as far as irrigation allocation, we need a flood, really, is what we're looking for.
Now, it is very hit and miss with rain for these inland regions. How do you cope during the years just coming off of drought? What does this do for morale on the ground? How's it feeling around the scenes with other farmers in the region? Even with our average rainfall, it's just fantastic. It's so exciting. We're looking for that big flood event, as I said, but the morale and the businesses right through these regional communities rely on farming, and that's reliant on rainfall, obviously, and it just lifts everyone's spirits and lifts everyone's business as well. Every business in town is affected, so there's a lot more spring in people's steps this year than there was previous to this in those drought years. And now, Sam, there is a mouse plague unfolding, particularly in central west New South Wales. You're a little further north, but you have said that you've been impacted by this slightly with some mice in the house. Have any farms around you been decimated from this plague? Not
so much decimated. Further south through central west New South Wales, definitely. Got mates who've had sorghum crops completely written off by the mice. We've been baiting preemptively. We've got a lot of mice activity in the paddocks, and we've been baiting the few crops we do have in for summer. And we're quite concerned for winter crops that we'll be planting, starting to get in the ground in the next month. If there's big numbers of mice, they'll chew that seed up out of the ground before it even gets to germinate. So we're getting a bit nervous. We're trying to secure bait for that winter crop, but we're fingers crossed, if we get a flood, it might even fix two problems. It might make everything wet, and it might get rid of the mice too. So here's hoping. Yeah, a lot unfolding for those Central West farmers. Of course, we don't wish these floods on anyone that we're experiencing right now in eastern New South Wales, but one good thing coming out of it is the welcome rain we're experiencing for those inland parts like yourself near Moree that have been absolutely devastated by drought over the last couple of years or so. Thanks for your time, Sam Heagney, for joining us this Saturday evening.